Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us on such a beautiful day. I'm Jennifer Matz. I'm the Director of the Mayor's Office of Economic and Workforce Development. Today we're here to mark a milestone in the evolution of the Yerba Buena neighborhood, one that is about business, jobs, and revenue. We're thrilled to be celebrating a new beginning for the Metreon that will support and enliven the neighborhood and allow me to stop driving to Emeryville to shop at Target. Our speakers today are Mayor Ed Lee, Anthony Rich of Westfield, Donna Egan of Target, and Fred Blackwell, the Director of the San Francisco Redevelopment Agency. Following a few words from each of our speakers, we're going to conduct a ceremonial groundbreaking right here in this room. Before I introduce our speakers, I'd like to acknowledge the following individuals that are here today: San Francisco Redevelopment Agency Commissioners Briones, Brown, and Singh, as well as a City College Board of Trustee Natalie Berg. Since assuming office in January, Mayor Lee has made job creation and growing the economy a priority, and as we've all seen, he delivers with Twitter. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce the mayor.
Jen, thank you very much. If you notice I'm smiling, it's because there's such a combination of very, very goodwill here and good direction. I'm smiling because I also get an opportunity to be somewhat destructive and productive at the same time today. But I'm here today to kind of bolster and brag about what we're doing in San Francisco, because we're still doing the right things. Again, I've been all over the city so many times, and people ask where the jobs are, how we can create jobs, how can we sustain our economy and grow it. And again and again and again, I've repeated, we are doing redevelopment so well here in the city. And I want to thank Jen and Fred Blackwell and our private partners. I want to thank the Redevelopment Commission for being here so solidly, and your wonderful staff, because I've spoken out from the very start in January when people suggested that redevelopment perhaps was a gone entity and maybe it shouldn't be done. We are continuing to do the right things in this city with our redevelopment agency. And by the way, with this fantastic view we have here, with this wonderful site, the Metreon site, as it's been labeled and called for some years, this land is actually owned by our redevelopment agency. And they have done the right thing again in enticing a major investor like Westfield to come over from their extremely successful shopping center just a block away to offer their vision for here to expend $30 million worth of investment here, and to again invite another fantastic anchor tenant, our Target, or should I say Target is what people have been making me try to pronounce it the way we pronounce it here, to have a special store. But in addition to Target, some 20 new restaurants as part of that $30 million investment. Restaurants and dining facilities and entertainment facilities that will be facing this wonderful, beautiful Yerba Buena Garden that we've invested so many years of our effort on as a great city. So that's why I'm happy, and that's why I'm smiling, because it's, again, the use of redevelopment in such a positive way. They've been such a cornerstone for jobs, and we're talking 600 construction jobs as this project begins. And then to follow that, 700 permanent jobs that are reflective of all of the restaurant and eating facilities that we have here, the kind of facility this floor will have in terms of allowing it to be used as public space, and then the jobs that Target will bring in for their new kind of urban design Target store, which I know that Donna will be explaining in more detail. These are the attributes that we are announcing today. And so you will have a mayor that's both enthusiastic about this, because it fulfills a constant theme that I have in my tenure here, is job creation and bringing hope to the city, that we use our agencies the best way possible. And this is really another highlight for redevelopment. And I will say again to Governor Brown and to others that are suggesting that redevelopment failed throughout the city, we do it right here. And we continue to do it right. And we bring forth examples of how we do it right. It's job creation, it's job sustaining, it's the growth here. The Metreon, I was here in the original opening, by the way, and we welcomed in Sony at the time. Things do change since 1999, and new things occur. And then we used the success that Westfield's had in our shopping center just a block away. And wow, has that been a beautiful addition to the city, because every time my wife and I has done shopping there, we just look up constantly and view all the people amongst there. That's the same vision that they have here, is that you're going to be looking up to many floors of wonderful attractions, restaurants, eating, and all kinds of other entertainment. And by the way, my wife and I have been here for the IMAX for many times, and that theater will continue to be a vibrant theater here as well. So we have these attractions, and again, it's part of that city where Jen Matz and I and our offices working with redevelopment will continue along mid-market to continue bringing forth the new technology companies, the companies that we're in the room right now talking about how we can excite them with perhaps a relaxation of the stock option taxing that we've done, and so that we don't hurt them as they grow into the city, so that their employees that they will hire. And by the way, we have 50% local hiring on this as our objective here, right here in this project. Thanks again to the redevelopment objectives that we have, that those employees who we're bringing into the city through the new technology companies in mid-market will find everything that they need, whether it's food, whether it's entertainment, whether it's socializing, or whether it's continued interaction with their counterparts in their engineering world, in their creativity world, to have it right here happening along mid-market, along all of the streets around Mission and Market Street. And then as they want to entertain themselves in the evening, they can literally come here and spend all evening here. So I'm excited to put the sledgehammer to the wall, not to be destructive, to actually be productive, and to welcome in the jobs that this will represent, and to welcome in again the finest example of how we do public-private partnerships, having a redevelopment agency that thinks ahead, invites the investors, and then to suggest that the investors have the confidence in not only the redevelopment agency, but what we are doing as a city to move forward. Investors at Westfield and at Target wouldn't do this if they thought the city wasn't a good partner. And I also want to make sure I thank Anthony Rich as he comes up too, because he just told me this wonderful other story, the personal story of how he and his wife 18 months ago moved into Russian Hill, and they love it as much as I love this city. And they're investing not only their personal lives here, but investing all of their investors' future vision in this city. So it's a wonderful story. I hope all of you write about it, sustain it, YouTube it, Twitter it, Facebook it, whatever you need to do to get the story out. We are moving forward as a city, and the future of our city is our young people who will get these jobs. We're making sure that we are reaching out to all of our neighborhoods to make sure the jobs are open to all of them, and they won't do it unless we have a solid education system. So that's why we announced yesterday our support for our youth, because I want them to have good lives in the city. Thank you very much.
So as the mayor said, Westfield has been a strong contributor to the city's economy through the Metreon and the Westfield San Francisco Center. Their presence in the city generates thousands of jobs for San Francisco residents and millions to our tax base. The $30 million that the mayor referenced that Westfield is investing in this facility speaks volumes about their ongoing commitment to the city. And I'm pleased to introduce Anthony Rich, Senior Regional Vice President of Westfield.
Thank you, Jennifer. I'd like to thank Mayor Lee, Commissioners, Jennifer, the staff of the Redevelopment Agency, and the Office of Economic and Workforce Development for being here today on a pretty spectacular San Francisco day and support our efforts to revitalise Metreon. In particular, I'd also like to thank Amy Nitches and the staff of the Redevelopment Agency for sharing their expertise as we develop plans to reimagine this great location and work with the city to make this a reality. The Office of Economic and Workforce Development also was instrumental in advancing these plans. Thank you all for working with our team, led by Scott Valley, our Vice President of Development, on this project to reach this important milestone. To be in Yerba Buena with its museums, performing arts venues, and stream of world-class conventions, you've got to bring a strong imagination. And we knew that from day one. And you'd also better bring a lot of uniqueness. Westfield has always believed that this property could be reimagined and better integrated into the neighbourhood. I'd like to touch on our plans. Each floor now has a signature focus. The first crucial step was to literally turn the street level of this facility inside out. We're going to throw open the doors to the Yerba Buena Gardens by integrating our new dining terrace with over 470 seats inside and out. We're also, importantly, turning our tenants to face 4th and Mission Street. Like most San Francisco buildings, we want to invite guests into the building and create a lively promenade. And we truly believe that this will be a great complement to the area. On the second floor, we're thrilled to welcome the first CityTarget. Donna, who's here today from Target, will tell you about their plans. On the third floor, Lowe's will rebrand to AMC Theatres, represented here today by Sundee, and renovate their cinema and introduce a dynamic new box office. The fourth floor, where we're standing today, called City View for obvious reasons, will also be renovated and make an even more unique and successful premier location for special events. We're pleased to tell you that Metreon is nearly fully leased, with over 20 new restaurants, as the Mayor had mentioned, and retailers and other offerings. While construction's underway, Lowe's, AMC Theatres, Gillian's and Sunraku will all remain open, so please come and keep enjoying them. The new City View, where you're standing right now, will open in September 2011 after a brief refurbishment, and the first floor, including our new dining terrace, are scheduled to open in the first quarter of 2012. And Target, we're looking to open in the second half of 2012. To reach this milestone took a lot of hard work by many, many people and a healthy dose of imagination. We're thrilled about getting started and continuing to contribute to the vitality of the Yerba Buena neighbourhood and the city of San Francisco. Thank you all for being here today.
So I have a 10-year-old and I have a 12-year-old, and they are growing like weeds. And we like to shop at Target, and it will be wonderful to not have to drive across a bridge or down the peninsula in order to do so. So you really cannot come fast enough. Donna Egan, thank you.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Mayor Lee, Jennifer, Anthony, and Fred, our partners at AMC, for having us here today. I have to say, it's been so gratifying this morning hearing the genuine enthusiasm from so many of you here in this room about the opening of one of our first CityTargets, and I'd like to tell you a little bit about this new concept. Today, we have more than 1,700 Target stores in communities across the country. In fact, we already have 46 Targets here in the Bay Area. What's exciting about the direction in which we're headed, and this Metreon store in particular, is that more than ever, Target recognizes that one size does not fit all. Target strives to reflect the unique tastes of our guests by tailoring store design, product assortment, and local partnerships to meet the needs of our communities. We don't try to tailor locations to fit a Target. We tailor our Target stores to fit the location. As many of you have heard, in the next few years, Target will open smaller format CityTarget stores in a handful of densely populated urban areas like San Francisco. Guest research shows that urban residents are already Target guests who currently have to travel to suburban stores to shop. Not always an easy feat here. So we're exploring opportunities to reuse existing urban infrastructure to reach these guests. This San Francisco Metreon store perfectly showcases the CityTarget concept. At approximately 85,000 square feet compared to a typical 135,000 square foot general merchandise Target store, it will be significantly smaller. That means it will have most of the things that make Target Target, but with the San Francisco guest in mind. We will edit our product assortment to include everyday items in appropriately sized SKUs and include unique offerings for city dwellers. We also know that busy suburbanites working downtown will appreciate a clean and safe store that they know and trust to run into to purchase diapers, purchase items for that night's meal on the way home from work. This CityTarget will include our expanded selection of fresh food that includes dairy, produce, and meat. While our opening is still more than a year away, tentatively scheduled for October 2012, the Target team is working hard to ensure we just don't meet but exceed San Franciscans' very high expectations. This is reflected in everything from the unique store design, which will include large expanses of clear windows overlooking Yerba Buena Park, to working directly with the San Francisco Redevelopment Agency and the South of Market Employment Center to prioritize hiring local team members. We expect to hire more than 200 team members, and the hiring process will begin 6 to 8 months prior to opening. Finally, Target is committed to being a good neighbor in the communities in which we serve. Last October, we sponsored Yerba Buena Family Day, which featured performances by Circus Bella and free admission to 4 neighborhood museums. This summer, Target will sponsor 2 free concerts in the Gardens in May and July. Thank you, Mayor Lee, fellow speakers, and all of you for allowing me to share some of our plans. I cannot overemphasize how thrilled we are to join the San Francisco community, and we look forward to sharing additional details in the future. Thank you.
So as has been mentioned, the Metreon is in the Yerba Buena Center redevelopment project area, which was formed in 1966, and it's now the city's premier cultural convention and shopping district. While Fred Blackwell has not been the director of the agency since 1966, he does deserve much of the credit for its success. I'd like to please welcome my friend and colleague, Fred Blackwell.
Thank you, Jennifer, for acknowledging that I haven't been around all that long. I'd like to be brief, but I also have quite a bit to share with you all. I'm a community development person, so it's hard for me to stand up here today without kind of telling you the story about how we've gotten here. But before I do that, I do want to acknowledge again some of the people in the room who have been here for a long time and have actually seen the evolution of this project area before their very own eyes. We have commissioners here, Commissioner Balde, Commissioner Singh, and Commissioner King here in the front row. Commissioner King has been a commissioner at the Redevelopment Agency since 1980, which means that he has seen the transformation of this community firsthand. But in addition to our commissioners, there are also people in the room who have seen this stuff from beginning to end as well. I see John Elberling here in the room, who has been a community member in the Yerba Buena area, fighting not only to see the kinds of things happen that are happening today, but also fighting to make sure that the people who lived in this area when this was established as a project area had a chance to benefit from the investments that have had occurred here. This was an area, probably one of the earliest redevelopment project areas established in the state, along with the Western Addition. And early on, its story was one of urban renewal, where the paradigm for community development was to raise the land, clear it out, and then start from new with a new palette. And for that reason, if this building were here 20 years ago or 30 years ago and you were to stand out on this patio, what you would see when you looked around was basically a parking lot. You would see just large swaths of land right next to downtown that had not been developed. And because of the hard work of waves of commissioners, the hard work of waves of agency staff, including people like Kathy Pickering here in the front and Amy Netchis in the back, because of the hard work of community members and members of the city family, What you see now when you look out that window is a cultural district, an entertainment district, a shopping district, and a place where visitors come from all over the world as a convention and visitors area. This has been the product of literally decades of hard work, patience and diligence on the part of many, many people. The thing that I want to say that's really important here is that this building will actually be an incredible contributor to the kind of final pieces of the transformation of the Yerba Buena area. As Anthony talked about, repositioning the building so it's facing Mission Street, facing 4th Street, and inviting people in is a very important thing to do, and I think will contribute to the vibrancy of this community. The addition of Target is a wonderful addition. I can't tell you how many people I talked to who are excited about this project, and I want to just finish on that note by saying thank you to Anthony, thank you to Westfield, and thank you to Target for giving me some legitimacy and credibility with my grandmother. I have tried on many occasions to explain to my grandmother what I do on a day-to-day basis, and I talk about infrastructure and affordable housing and economic development, but not until I said that Target was coming to San Francisco did she really think that I was actually doing something when I went to work every day. So thank you. All right.
All right, thank you all. I would now like to invite our speakers to all grab a hard hat, some goggles, and a mallet. If you could join us over by this post.
1, 2, 3. All right.
That was worth the wait. It's a bow shot.
Who's your package? So I'll hang out down there.